Okay, remember that they are changing my voice? I'm not gay. I'm very far from gay. This video is about how it ends. I'm gonna go over the details a bit more than in the other videos. This video is very important. First of all, if you were to use someone else's scale about, in regards to how things end, you would be an idiot. You'd be like a nerdy homosexual or something who refuses to admit the truth. You'd be like a white supremacist or a Jewish supremacist. You'd be some kind of fool. Some kind of person immersed in science or some dumb stuff like that, instead of looking at reality. Life is not about how much information you absorb. It's how efficiently you understand why you're here. It's how you apply being in the divine order. There's no life outside of the divine order. So this video is about the final destruction of the most demonic places, Europe, Israel, and America, and also the final destruction of the rest of the world. Now, the reason why America, Europe, and Israel are the most demonic places is what they've done to the world, but first and foremost, what they've done to me and how they've mocked God. They're the main people who have screened out the righteous in the end, and there's no excuse for that. And any misguided sense of loyalty that would cause someone to say, hey, he's not supposed to say that, is very immature. You people are far from men. Vir and virtue means man in your own language, and you don't even understand the importance of virtue. And that's what happens when you're not a man, right? It automatically happens. It automatically is revealed that you don't understand the importance of virtue before, during, and after your lives. They were warned many times, and they went too far. They went too far, and they were far gone. They went far to persecute me and insult God, so God is watching as they attempt to interfere with the writing of this. But the truth in it, which I will put simply, is what matters. Not the mere words written by LGBT people, whites and Jews, etc., but the truth. As I've reviewed this writing, regardless of how much they've hacked my brain or not, I see that it is correct. And the people who interfered one way or another are extremely disgraced. God would not forsake me by not cooking their families. God cooks their mediocre and laughable families to the extreme. All victories are in principle, and even a child should be able to tell you why. There is not a man or a valid woman among the opposition view. This is the story of God and Christ and the angels targeting Europe, Israel, and America the most for their targeting of Christ. They're targeting the righteous and their mockery of God while they do horrible things to people all over the world. Obviously, China and Russia and other nations are not exempt. But the main focus of God's wrath is on the souls and life worth of the people in Europe, Israel, and America. My parents and I are blameless, and there's something to be said about my younger brother and a little something to be said about my older brother. These days you can see it in those who failed. Some Jews are more sad than others, and they still have their souls rotting. Whites try to scapegoat them, and they suffer immensely, arguably the most. The LGBT community is far worse off than Sodom and Gomorrah. Their failure disgraces them, and the whole world sees they are an object of scorn and a byword. They are the laughing stock. Now, in case you people missed it the first time, me saying this on behalf of God is what's important. Not whether or not the Simpsons, the Scary Movie types, the Jetson types, the Lemmings, as I often refer to them as, ever hear this video. God sees me making this video. He sees the verdict being delivered through sabotage, through their attempts to stop me from making a video by trying to put words in my mouth as a tactic to discourage me from making videos. That's what matters. God will never forsake the righteous. The offspring of the wicked will spiritually perish. They will be like bird crap on the ground. Refuse, as they refuse to be men, and if they're females, they refuse to be women. They are an object of scorn, a byword. They are a laughing stock to the righteous. Who cares what retards think? Who cares what those who would rebel against God think? How can they who were so rich in terms of worldly riches only achieve the pathetic existence that they have? They had God's Son ordering them on God's behalf, but listened to mere child molesters and their allies, as they loved violence and rape and hated righteousness. Curses were called down by God's Son while nerds on duty pretended to be doing something and tried to control every minute. They had fallen into a huge snare, a trap for complete cowards as their souls rotted and twitched. God made it so their brains could not really understand what was going on. They are like people on fire who do not feel it. All the major cities in Europe, America, and Israel were full of people whose souls were rotting. Not a single person was exempt. There will be no cure for their offspring. They will be cut off. They will be cut off. All hope was truly gone. Okay, so, I'm not in a major city. I'm in Morgan Hill. That's why I put that way. This is part 1. Due to interference, I'm going to have to do this in 2 or 3 parts. But important takeaways here, have to do with how they ended up. We're going to talk about widowhood, death, mourning, and famine, and what that means in the Bible. Fire, scorching hot coals, burning sulfur, hailstones, cloudbursts, thunderstorm, the whirlwind, the windstorm, the cords of death, the torrents of destruction. We're going to help you understand how these things are based on real things. The essence of these things are a message from God. These things are a message that convey the essence of these things. For example, if someone throws, some kind of punch, right? There's a better punch, right? There's a better strike, and my strikes were the best. So the essence of that idea is the essence of my best strikes. Okay, so when we see the lightning and the thunder and all this stuff, we see the whirlwind, we see the tsunami, hurricanes, tornadoes, fire, right? Burning sulfur. What is the essence? What is God capable of? Well, God's capable of things that go to the infinite degree, right? There's no limitation for God. But when the righteous are before God, and God knows my heart, that I desire that the enemies of God be tortured more than I desire love from a woman, especially after females have failed to treat me fairly. What happens? God would not forsake the righteous. When we look at the wars, it doesn't matter who wins the wars. These are just mere human events. What matters are the principles. That's why we see the message, of Christ on the cross isn't, defeating the Romans in physical battle. The message is spiritual warfare. The message is all victories are in principle. So I've won because all victories are in principle, for the same reason that Christ on the cross in the story has won. An idea superimposed on me. The same reason that John the Baptist and Stephen the Martyr and Isaiah in popular culture, who said to be sawed in half, have won. I've triumphed over these people as a man. People say things like the last man standing. Who cares who the last worm standing is? Who cares what kind of cowards are left after the righteous have gone? Isaiah 57 says the righteous are taken away to be spared from evil, to be spared from the presence of those who are far too cowardly to obey God through me and their offspring, who are bred from the cowards, who are bred from the traitors, who are bred from the worms, who are bred from these vile goats that have been separated from the true chosen of God. The hatred is in their speech, not mine. I tell the truth. They hated me enough to persecute me my whole life. They hated me enough to cheat me out of my right to lead. They hated me enough to persecute me with racists and fanatic homosexuals and Jewish supremacists, who are some of the most vile racists on the planet. They hated me enough to be cowards and to raise cowards and to breed cowards and to raise their children to be some kind of punk that insults God every day, like some kind of sissy rock and roll coward, like some kind of anime filth, like some kind of worm without heart. While I'm the top martial artist ever possible, and God Almighty has triumphed me over the United States of America, who dared to persecute me, who dared to insult God by persecuting me. I have no allegiance to any nation in the world, and I particularly despise America for how I've been treated. How they've tried to coerce me, they've tried to threaten me. They tried to sexually assault me, how they sexually harass me. Very sick people, very deranged people. How their political parties blame each other when they're all a bunch of fucking cowards that I have trampled thoroughly. Let the burning sulfur from God, let the hot coals from God and the righteous cook their souls to their extreme. This extreme. Now they changed my voice to try to make it sound corny because they never grew up. You all know my words are correct. This is what they get, the fate of traitors, the fate of scum, the fate of those who would rather rally to evil people like the English royals, like the Jewish international financiers, like people who have come together to do horrible things. It's not just people who self-identify as political Zionists or Republicans, right? It's every group you see exerting worldly power of every race. But one would be racist if they didn't highlight that some races, the rich of some races are more guilty than others. And so that goes back to the whites, the Jews, the LGBT community. They're more guilty than the other people, and the right thing to do is to highlight that that's the case. So when you look at this video and you ask yourself, is it fair for me to make this video? Is it doing the right thing? Is it highlighting the right thing? Is it making it clear that I'm not afraid of the government, I'm not afraid of anybody? Is it making it clear that God's wrath is real? Is it doing things in a way that is fair and not playing favorites? I'm not a racial supremacist, I'm a moral supremacist. And so when you consider everything, you see that I'm being fair. And you see that all the wars that ever were and ever will be in this world are peanuts compared to God's wrath on the souls of the enemies of God. Is there a person on this planet, other than my parents and I, who haven't had their souls significantly reduced by the wrath of God? And I even go as far as to say in a way that you can tell. If you can't tell the difference between me and other people, then you are crazy. You have eyes, but you don't truly see. You have ears, but you don't truly hear, and you don't truly understand. You don't understand why you're here. Like lightning blinds people when it flashes. They're blinded by the wrath of God. They're blinded by their wickedness that burns their ability to understand why they're here and what to do, like a fire.